sit in and get with you, baby, tonight. I don't wanna love, I don't wanna fight. I don't wanna have to tell you all the things I know. I don't wanna stay, but I don't wanna go. I don't wanna be the lover in your arms. I don't wanna be the one to keep you from home. I don't wanna be the crooked person in your heart. I don't wanna start, but I don't wanna start. Part-time lover, how we suffer now. And I don't wanna waste no more of your precious time. I don't wanna say that everything will be fine. I don't wanna feel your tears on my skin. I'm a coward, baby, don't let me in. Part-time lover, how we suffer now. So I don't wanna sit in and get with you, baby, tonight. I don't wanna love, I don't wanna fight. I don't wanna have to tell you all the things I know. I don't wanna stay, but I don't wanna go. Wayfaring stranger, traveling through this world of war. There is no sickness, toil nor danger in that bright land to which I go. I'm going there to see my mother. I'm going there, no more to roam. I'm just going over Jordan. I'm just going to see my brother. He said he'd meet me when I come.
Good day. This is Thumbs United. Hold on, I got one setting to apply. There we go. Let's open Lightroom. Okay. OBS has been acting a little weird since I was forced into updating Windows. And it's not remembering any of the settings. And I really don't want to update OBS because it works right now. And yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at. Today's going to be a shorter stream. We're only going to edit like 239 photos. We might get to a little more, but later. It depends how I feel. It's already kind of late. It's 12:30 a.m. But oh man, I slept. Not well, but I slept for a long time. Yesterday I got up at 6 and then we streamed until 1 in the morning. And when I went to sleep it was finally 2. And I did not get up till like 3:50, almost 4 o'clock p.m. That's how tired I was. It was, well, like I said, it was tiring. But well, I know I had stressful dreams the whole time. Everybody's yelling at me, everyone was grumpy. So it wasn't the most restful. It was like I was in a coma. And I told my mom, I was like, why didn't you check on me? I could have been dead. Could have been dead. But I didn't die. And that was good. And I'm looking. Okay, so I think these photos, well, you know, we might edit some of the dashboard cam photographs, the GoPro mounted on top of the car. This is with the Canon camera. I was shooting through the window. I wasn't driving. Don't take pictures while you drive. But yeah, so this is looking through the front window, and then a lot of the rest of the ones are actually looking from the side. There we go. And now we're going to copy the settings. We'll synchronize the setting. That's what it's called in Lightroom. And so all the settings we just did with this photograph, I'm applying it to the rest. And then we will fine-tune everything as we go. So it just saves us from having to do the same steps over and over again. Let's see, yeah, like it's really fast. And this one's a little too overexposed. Yeah, these photos are much better than the ones yesterday. They were kind of difficult to edit yesterday because they were so high contrast because of the window we were shooting through. Hello, Gun Rudder 269. What are some of the general things you can do to a nature photo editing wise? just to make it look better, I took well, it really depends on, you know, on the photo. I have to see it, but if you have Lightroom or if you have Photoshop, we have this thing called the tone curve right here, and you can mess around with that. And so how the tone curve works is it's a line, like right here, it's a straight line, and so the top half of the line affects the bright colors and bright area and things that are like white light and everything. And so if you raise that point kind of up, everything that's bright, it will make it even brighter without affecting anything that's in shadow or darkness. But then what you can do is you can say, okay, here at the bottom, this affects all the dark things. So you can make the dark areas really high contrast without affecting the bright areas of the image, like the clouds and the sky. And you can see how the forest line kind of stayed the same, but everything that was down here that was darker and the dark plants got really high contrast. So playing around with the tone curve is something that really goes a long way. Like this is a default medium contrast, and you can see there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, there's 4 points. I usually like to keep mine simple, but kind of extreme. So if, let's say this photo was too bright, a simple way you can do is just kind of grab down the middle and pull it inwards, and that will kind of bring down the exposure and everything while increasing the contrast. And so messing around with curves, that's my favorite way to edit, especially for editing video and everything, because you don't always have these options. The options up here, like the exposure and everything, they're good in Adobe products and like Premiere and Photoshop and Lightroom. But if you're working with video editors, they don't all have the same good results, and they might not have some of the same options. And so really learning how to do kind of everything on curves is a safe bet, because almost all editing programs will let you work with the curves. So that's kind of my advice for editing landscape photos and plant photos. And like everything else is kind of just extra. Oh, your phone editor. Yeah, I'm not sure. See that I don't use the phone so much. I think they do make a version of, like a light version of Photoshop for the phone, because I remember when that came out. You might want to look into that, but it was like $10 or something. It was a little expensive, but cheap for Photoshop. Who else is there? Yeah. Do. Yeah, I don't know what was going on with these photos, but they were so much better today than last night. I think maybe the problem was the photos I took the day before were all at sunset, so already it was too warm. The light, and warm light is like orange, yellow, reds. That's what we're talking about when we're talking about warm light. It's the kind of color hue. And at sunset, there's the golden hour, but really past noon, the light slowly starts to get into more of a warm color temperature. So sunrises are usually, warm oranges, yellows, reds. But mornings are the opposite. It's cooler colors, so it's bright, kind of cool colors like blue, green, purples. And so since all the other photographs were taken at sunset, which as opposed to these ones, which are taken at high noon, so it's kind of like when it's the closest to being pure white light. I think it was easier on the camera to kind of compensate. Yeah, since we did the general settings, it's going a lot faster. We have cows minding their own business. It was really interesting. Like, we think America, we always think of the cities and everything, and just being surrounded by people. But when you drive across it, it's just, there is so much land between everyone. And so you get into a city, and it's like, okay, you're here, everyone knows each other, and you kind of stick to the city. You never really go out. But like once you drive out of the city, it's like it's like 50, or some of them, sometimes when you're on the highway, they straight up tell you, this is the last stop for gas. After this, the next gas station's 300 miles away. And like, you can get stuck if you just, driving, minding your own business, and then all of a sudden you realize you're at a quarter of a tank. But so it's always good to, keep an eye on your gas tank while you're driving. But it's just nothing. In terms of people, there's incredible, landscapes and scenery, especially through what, I don't know, a lot of friends when I grew up, they were like, oh, we had to drive across the country, and then we went through the boring states, and like now they're called the flyover states, but they're still interesting, because my friends were like, oh, it's nothing but corn. But it was really impressive, our agricultural system that we have, and that it just produces so much. Like, there's maybe 20 or 30 people at a farm, and they're responsible for like hectares, not just acres, hectares of growing all this food. And then the farm equipment was pretty cool, because it was just massive. And we've become like so efficient at growing it all. But yeah, once you get into, so Iowa and Nebraska had a lot of corn growing, but Wyoming was mainly just open space. It was gentle rolling hills with mountains in the distance. We were traveling across I-80, which is kind of a route we normally do. Going from Michigan to Northern California, it was all I-80. But if you're going to Southern California from the Midwest, usually, if you're up high where Michigan is, then you usually take 80 and then you go down to 60. And that's where I have the photos from before. But it was funny because we had a rental van, and it's just a minivan, but we rented it. And so we're driving, minding our own business, and then we're driving back. And we're in Nebraska, and it's 1 a.m. And this police car is driving alongside us. Then he pulls in front of us, and then he starts to slow down. And we're like, what's this person doing? Like, we thought the policeman was going to, stop traffic because there's an accident ahead, but he just kept getting slower and slower. And then he's signaling for us to go around. So we go around, and then he's following us to our hotel. And I was like, uh-oh. So we stop, and he comes to the driver's side, and he's like, I see you're from Michigan. And we're like, yeah, we're from Michigan. And he's like, it's a rental car? And we're like, yeah, it's a rental car. And he's like, did you go to California? And we're like, yes, we just picked up the service dog from California. And then he's like, well, did you go to Arizona? And we're like, no. And he was like, well, the reason why I know you left Michigan on the 2nd is because they have a whole bunch of license plate scanners. And I was like, what? How creepy is that? So they're just scanning any old license plate that goes through. And so he was like, yeah, we have to check usually. Because so he said that, we usually think that minivans carry, narcotics and drugs and all this stuff because the drug dealers give it to families and they think they look so innocent, so they get by the cops. But we like to check. And so I was like, that's weird. But he was like, you guys are fine. So then he let us go. He's like, phew. Because, like, if he had to go through the car, he would have been annoyed. Because it was a mess. Like, we had the dog in the crate, and then we had food everywhere. And it would have taken him all day to go through the car. But, so that was that. And then, we check in, and the concierge I was like, oh yeah, they did that to my cousins. For whatever reason, the Nebraska police people do not like cars that have gone through California or Arizona. And they kind of assume that you get drugs from those states and then try to bring them past into the Midwest. I was like, that's interesting. So just to let you know. And the other advice I have to give is do not use Instagram when you are traveling, doing a road trip. Like if you're flying from one location to a next, it's okay. But Instagram, and it's ironic, but they're so paranoid about spam posters and everything that they always flag my account as spam if I go through Iowa. Because they think, oh no, first it starts out with, oh, somebody in Iowa is using your Instagram account, and they say, enter your, they text you the verification code and you enter it in, and then I do it, and they're like, oh, gasp, they already got your verification code. And it's like, I entered my verification code. It was me. I'm in Iowa. I'm literally in Iowa on my Instagram account. And they don't believe it. So then, that was a couple years ago, like 2017. I went to Iowa, and it just kept going in a loop of I was verifying, and I was like, oh, somebody's trying to hack into your account in Iowa, and it's like me. I'm literally entering the verification code, and it never worked. And so Instagram's two-factor authentication always sucked. But this time, it got so much worse. I have a business manager that connects to my Instagram account so I can schedule my photography posts. And so that was connected, and then I went through Iowa, and again they were like, looks like somebody's trying to hack into your account from Iowa. You have to change your password. And they said if this person gets your password, then we're gonna, ban you. And I was like, what? So I had to create a new password. They wouldn't let me keep the old one. And then because I was in Iowa, they were like, well, the person still got it. And so I had to just, sit there. And I couldn't post anything. And so one of the accounts I managed, the Project Aerospace Beyond Stars, that one, I posted one thing, and then they gave me a timeout ban. And I was like, seriously? So I couldn't like or or comment on anything, which is fine. I mean, I do like to go around and like other people's content, but I don't do a lot of commenting, if ever. I do reply. I try to reply to everyone now. But, so that was like, oh, this is aggravating. So yeah, just be aware, especially if you have a business account or you have plugins to Instagram that run through, that access your account. Now, if you're traveling through kind of, what is the word? Kind of remote places, and not like tourist destinations, and just don't use Instagram. And so that was the ironic thing, was that, they're so paranoid about spam posters and people abusing the terms of service. And it's just like, there is so many spam accounts that, constantly come at my Instagram. Like, so I manage 4 Instagram accounts, and for whatever reason, when there's somebody who's like focused on spamming me, not even focused on spamming me, but like the only reason why I know they're spam is because they copy and paste the same message to all 4 Instagram accounts, but they don't know they're related to each other. I don't advertise that they're all from LCD Productions, except for 2 of them. But like there's this one that's copy and paste, and it's like, I think this is a good photo, but for composition, I think it needs a little better lighting. And it will be and so like the first time I saw that, I was like, oh, thank you for the constructive criticism. But then he posted on like a different photo where it made no sense, because it was like, it was well illuminated and everything. And so I didn't respond. And then a couple of days later, you copy and pasted the same thing with the same emojis onto 2 of my Instagram accounts, and I was like, oh, this person's spam. And that's the part that sucks. And even genuine people on Instagram are trying to game the system often, because everyone's trying to beat the algos, which I gave up. I never tried to beat the algos. I do what I want. And but a lot of times you'll see, especially with models and everything, they'll post and they'll be like, oh, spell your name 1 letter each in the comments below. And so that increases the amount of comments they get. And so Instagram's like, oh, people must really like this photo. And, we'll propagate it to more people. And it's just like, And that's the terrible part. Not that the models do it or that they have to do it. No, it is terrible that they have to do it, because the photos they're posting are like incredible. And so why do they have to stoop to that level just to get it out? And so that's kind of like how bad Instagram's algorithm is in general on its own, that good content can't trickle up, because they're so busy trying to have the algos not post spam and only show people they think you like, even though you follow 30 people. They're only going to show you 5 of those accounts for like a half hour scrolling. But that's the unfortunate part. And like, I see a ton of photographers that have, like, I used to get around 10 to 12 likes. Now, not so much. But I see photographers with 3,000, 4,000 followers, and they post like these really incredible photos, and they only get like 200 likes, and it's like, what? And you might be saying, oh, that's a lot more likes. But then there are these other people who I think are shameful, who run these accounts that are they just repost other photographers' work, and like they always contact me and they're like, oh, we want to share your work, follow us and message us, and we'll take one of your photographs and post them on our account with and tag you in it. And it's just like, I don't want that. I don't, because it just makes their accounts look better, so people follow their accounts for all these other photographers, but nobody really reads the comments or follows the tag. It's not that great. It's one of those things where it's like, oh, we'll give you exposure if you give us this photo for free. And it's like, huh? And so a lot of people do that, and so there's a cosplay account like that, which I do follow, and sometimes they'll post, one or two cosplays, and it's like, okay, I want to see who this person's account is, and I found several cosplayers that way, but it's just, I don't know. Oh, but I was saying, so I found several cosplayers that way, and so the accounts that, repost everyone's stuff, they have like 200,000, 400,000 followers, and then you go to the actual cosplayer who does the original content, and they'll only have like 400 followers, and it's just like, what? So all the promotion and, exposure doesn't really work that well. It only benefits the person doing the reposting. But so I kind of despise those kinds of Instagram accounts. And the way they do it, contact you, is so spammy. Like they just copy and paste the same thing on all your images. It's like, what? What? So we're swimming along. Swimming along. So that was one gripe. I don't know what this photo needs. It needs something. It needs help. I don't know how to cut down on this haze. Without making the church look too black. But that was as good as it was gonna get. We got the cows and the sprinklers. There was this awesome animation. One day I'll find it and retweet it and tweet it out again. But it was like back in 2003, 2004. This person made this animated song YouTube video, and it's called Cows with Guns, and it was just hilarious. It was about the uprising of cows, and So every time I see a cow, I think of that. Like one of the lines was, no one was suspecting he was packing an Uzi. So I used to watch that with my friends on like free time. We used to have this in math class. If we all got above a certain percentage, like if we all got 80% or higher on our math quiz, then in the Friday math class, we could, surf the internet. And it wasn't like, this was back in 2004. So one of us, we would each take turns, and we'd go on the computer and we'd find a video, and then we'd put it on the projector and we'd all watch it. So we just, pass around funny stuff. So it was a good motivator because all of our grades went up. I was like, we want Friday off. Yes, please. Mountains. I've been going through some of my Twitter settings, and I discovered that there's an analytic side, not Twitter analytics, but under your personal info and data setting, you can go and you can find Twitter has like a dossier on you about what they think you like and everything. And it says, Twitter interests. And so it's not something you manually make. It's something Twitter constantly adds to your profile without you seeing it. And so I went through, and there were like all these subjects which I'm really not interested in. And some of it was funny, but then some of it wasn't funny. And so you can go in and check it if you're not interested. But if you start, unchecking it, you should, and you have an interest in changing that, you have to go back like every day or, twice a day, because Twitter will try to put some of the stuff back on because like, we don't think you really don't like that. And so I went, and they were like, oh, you like this news channel? And I was like, no, I don't like this news channel. So I unchecked it, and then and they're like, oh, you like the government? And I was like, no, not right now, I don't. So I unchecked that, and then the funniest thing is that they keep I'm allergic to gluten. I'm allergic to corn, wheat, soy, walnuts, and peanuts. And so they keep putting on the interest tab that I like donuts. And it's just like, I can't even eat a donut. Why are you guys trying to show me tweets and stuff that have to deal with donuts? So I keep unchecking that, and Twitter's like, no, we know you. You really like donuts. And I was like, I am insulted. Just because I'm a little bit overweight, and by a little bit I mean a lot, doesn't mean I have to like donuts. I used to like donuts, but not since 2010. I didn't always have the allergies before I could eat anything, but I got the allergies when I turned 22. My body hated me when I turned 22. But yeah, and so I noticed that since I've been fine-tuning my interests on Twitter, I'm seeing like better content and less depressing stuff, less kind of spam articles and everything, where like less clickbait and kind of stuff that's engineered to get you hyped and either angry or outraged. So I already see less of that, and I've been doing it for 2 or 3 days. So I highly recommend everyone do it. And from what I'm told, if you make it better tailored to you, it will also kind of show your account to people with similar interests and more accurately. And so I've noticed I've been getting a lot more interactions on my posts than normal from other photographers and stuff that used to interact. So I think that was probably it. One of the reasons how they kind of not what's the word? Not ban you or shadow ban you, but they're always trying to figure out, what corner a user should be of the internet they should be in. And so when they guess completely wrong and put you with a group of, Twitter followers that are nothing really like you and don't share your interests, then of course your Twitter account's not going to do well. And so if you do a lot of posts on Twitter or in social media, it's nice that Twitter allows you to tailor it. I'm going to look and see if Facebook and Instagram have something like that where you can modify the interests. But I'm pretty sure they like to keep their secret because they really like to use that data for advertisers. But we'll see. I'll probably check tomorrow, and if I find out anything good, I'll report that. Now winters are really coming. It was so nice in summer because the sun would set at like 9:30 p.m. and I just felt like, the days were so long, but now it's like I was working on the computer and everything, and I work in the basement like a nerd that I am, and I came up and I was just like, it was 8 and like the sun was already down. It was dark and I was like, this is depressing. I missed the whole day. And so I had some errands to run, and the goal was to get to Cordova. And so we're driving around and everything, and it's like, it felt like it was 12 at night, but it was only like 8:30. And I was like, the winter is coming pretty soon. I can't believe how fast the year's been going. It's going too fast. We're about halfway done with this. And I think once we finish this section, that will be it. For the GoPro photos we're going to edit, I'm going to finish selecting the good ones. With the GoPro, how it works is I put it on top of the car with a suction cup, and it's the 3D GoPro, and I use that for doing VR and 3D videos. But because it's the Hero 2, you can't control it wirelessly or anything like that, but you can set it on a timer where it will take a photo every 2 seconds, 5 seconds, 10 seconds, or 20 seconds. And so the memory card that I put in the GoPro, it's 2 GoPros that are tethered together, so they need 2 memory cards, but they're both 32 gigs. And so taking a photo every 5 seconds, I set it to take a photo every 5 seconds, but which sounds like a lot, but it's not really. The landscape really changes if you're driving every 5 seconds, so it's enough to give you a couple of choices on what landscape you want to take, but it's not too many photos where it's like 3 photos that are exactly the same. But The other thing is, I can't fill up the 32 gigabyte cards before the battery dies, so that's kind of nice with shooting time-lapse photos, because the batteries last for like an hour or an hour and a half while we're driving, and then pretty much at every pit stop I swap out the batteries. And so a full day of driving, I'll get like, I can look right now, the maximum I got was 3,700 photos. So it's not that many, but it does take a little while to sift through them. Like, I just scroll really fast through them, and it's like this one, that one. And so I can tell right now. So there's one where I had 233 photos, and out of that set of photos there were 356 good ones and interesting. And those ones, they're not going to be really used for printing or anything like that. They're going to be used for the 3D episodes, where I release them on YouTube as side-by-side and fixed view VR. But I also finished writing a program that allows me to do 3D VR with head tracking. So that's going to be coming out. That's what I use the GoPro 3D for. So the videos, what I'm going to do is I'm doing a lot more visual audiobooks, and so I started it with live to tape with Pam, the Vicky Barr Clue of the Golden Coin, and then right now on Photations, what's coming out is Pam the Pioneer, and that's with the photographs from Project Newfoundland. And the Pam the Pioneer series was shot with the 3D cameras, and so on Friday the 2D version comes out, which is just how you watch any normal video. But then on Sunday, the 3D for 3D TVs, which is the side-by-side format, comes out, and at the same time, the 3D for VR with Google Cardboard or any VR goggles for your smartphone comes out, and so you can watch it in 3D that way. You don't even need a 3D TV. And so going forward, there's a lot more kind of alternate photography. I say experimental photography coming out. And so there's I'm kind of sitting on the rest of the series, but there was Project Park, which I did for a while, which was 3D and 2D. But now the next set of Project Park is a combination of VR with head tracking. So you turn your head left, you see things on the left. You turn your head to the right, you see things on the right. But in addition to the head tracking, it's in 3D. So it took a while to figure out how to do that with YouTube, but it works now. When you're uploading videos to YouTube, there used to be a way that when you upload, you say, oh, it was a simple checkbox. You just said this video is in 3D. That was it. That's all you had to do. And it was the same for a 360 video, but they removed it for whatever reason. I don't know why. And then they wrote on their blog, like, if you want to upload 3D movies or 360, you have to, you can either use FFmpeg, which I highly recommend everyone learn how to use because it's really powerful, and then you have to add the tags saying it's 3D, and it's just like, what? So essentially you have to copy and paste the whole movie just to add some tags to it. And then but now there's this program you can use where you can tell it, okay, this is a 3D movie. This is 360 video. This is 360 with a stereoscopic, which is 3D 360 video. So that's gotten so much easier. Let's see. It's getting later in the day, and now the photos are kind of getting harder to, not to edit, but they're kind of creeping into that kind of warmer color space I don't like. So we'll keep going for a little bit, but I'm gonna reset the default pretty soon once it gets unbearable. Yeah, I have to do the voiceover, and it's just hard to do the voiceovers because there's not really a good time to do them. But I have to do, I'm going to do another Vicky Barr flight stewardess book for live to tape, and that's going to be the Flow series. So that's with when I record this Steadicam and watch through parks or architecture places. And then I'm also going to do one. I already have the book picked out for Project Aerospace, so I have to narrate that. And the hardest part, well, I'm not a really good reader. I do have dyslexia, and so me reading as fast as I can out loud is actually quite slow. Like, I talk slowly, and if you go back and watch the first 3 episodes of the Vicky Barr on live to tape, it's painful. And but with Pam the Pioneer, I got better at it just through practice, and I'm still not great, but it's like it takes a long time, and especially to edit. Like, each chapter is about 20 minutes, but then it takes an hour to edit each chapter. So what I do now is I record as many as I can. Sometimes I'll record the whole book, and then I'll just dedicate a week to sitting down and editing the audio. And I get faster at it, but it's painful because, like, listening to me talk is, I don't know, it just makes me cringe. Like, I can watch videos of myself, which I don't do. I almost don't put myself in any videos. But it's just once I start talking, it's like, ugh, is that what I really sound like? And the answer is yes. Okay, we're going to there we go. I'm going to synchronize the settings again. And synchronize. And we've only been streaming for an hour. And that's been much later than that. We got the train. Man, that's overexposed for no reason. And this is going into Utah. I think it's from Nevada to Utah. Like, these are good. Not like, oh, they're so good, but I mean, like, there's not a lot we have to edit. I'm planning on doing more Shutterstock, especially from this series. Uploading more to Shutterstock. I gotta diversify. I gotta probably within the month I'm gonna try to become part of this one art gallery. I just have to fill out the form and then they judge me. They get one of their senior artists and they tell you, oh, we like this work, or oh, we don't like it, or oh, you shouldn't be selling. So that's scary. And they tell it to your face. But I mean, it's not that bad. When I was taking art classes in college, they had us all gather around. We put our artwork, which was drawing. This was in drawing class, and then they rip into you. Like the students, they were like kind of nice. We all like to give each other the hamburger critique, where we say something we like about the art piece, then we say where it needs help, and then we say, oh, well, it still looks good because of that. And that's how I like to give. Like, you should never give art critiques if somebody didn't ask for it, but if they come to you and ask and say, hey, what do you think of the art, then you can say, oh, I recommend you give the hamburger critique, or you say something good, and then you say where it needs help. But you don't say like, oh, this looks like terrible. And you just say, oh, I'm not sure about this aesthetic. What were you going for there? And then they'll tell you. And then you say that, on the whole, it's really good. And, give them a reason to continue to do art. You don't want to destroy them. Like, it doesn't, being, in quotes, brutally honest, I mean, there is tact. You don't have to make someone hate what they did. Overexposed. I actually don't know what's going on with this photo. It is a little odd. Okay, well, we're getting towards the end. I want to thank everyone for coming out. I'll do another creative stream tomorrow. We'll continue working on this project, editing these photos. I'm gonna be uploading. Well, every day I upload the what we edited on Twitter the next day. So tomorrow I'll post the link to the photos, all these photos, on the store. But then I will be uploading a lot more to the Shutterstock account. So fingers crossed, people will start buying them to put in whatever content they want. But I'm really gonna focus on building up the Shutterstock, going into more art galleries and everything, and then yeah, hopefully things start going pretty well. And then yeah, the YouTube channels are coming along. I'm editing a lot, and so a lot should be coming out. Yeah, Pam the Pioneer for Quotations. That's coming out till December. There's 23 episodes, I think. That's my dog. She's getting anxious. And then these photos, I'll start posting more photos with direct links to them on Twitter, both on Thumbs United and LCD Productions. As people do seem interested in seeing all the photos on the store, and so I can post one photo and then like one full res photo on Twitter, not full res, but a Twitter photo, and then say, oh, here's the link to it, and then people go to the link and they see that photo and all the other photos they want. I've been avoiding doing that for the store. I've just kind of been letting it sit there, and I've been focused on doing a lot of work on the blog, which is a little different, but it's been very much focusing on posting photography, doing photography posts and videos. But I am starting to write more. I did a post today, well, technically yesterday at 9 p.m. So I'm going to be writing more on the blog, but then I'm also going to be promoting the store and everything. So there's going to be a lot more public work, not so much working in private anymore, in terms of photography and everything. I'm forcing myself to socialize. I got this awesome front loader. The Bobcat. There we go. And only a few more left. almost done. Almost done. So I want to thank everyone for coming out. I'll be live streaming tomorrow. We'll be going over the GoPro photos, which are a lot different than this. The ones we'll be editing, they'll be going to the live to tape accounts, so Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Instagram, it's live to tape _LCD_production. And I post the road photos and everything on live to tape, because that has more series that deals with the road trips and everything. Story time is all road trip photos and videos and everything. And live to tape is really the one that originated doing all the ASMR storytelling and reading out loud. Okay, so I want to thank everyone for coming out. I'm going to look for somebody to host. If anyone... I can host Bob Ross. Let's see. Let me check. Nobody's online. It's doing art. So yeah, I'll just end it here. Everyone, thanks for coming by. I'll see you tomorrow.